Hello gamers and welcome back. I'm Rob, of course, or Warshack if you want to call me by my in-game name. We're going to be jumping into another Rob reviews of the Witchwood expansion. So far, we've been about 50% right. We're getting the cards right that most other people got wrong, but the cards they got right, we're actually getting wrong. So I'm like overthinking simple cards instead of just saying they're trash. So with that, let's get straight into it. I believe the first card we're going to be covering is the Warrior Legendary. Please, computer, do not freeze like you did last time. Haha, get into it. Circle, 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 and
Keep it in the 10 to
good.
20 range. So the first card we're going to look over is the Warrior Legendary card. It's going to be Black Howl Gunspire. It's a 7-mana 3/8, can attack. So very similar to like the Rag, can attack. So what is it going to do if it's stationary?
This card sees zero play right now.
Some shit at people. Whenever this minion takes damage, deal 1 damage. Or whenever this minion takes damage, deal 3 damage to a
already having problems reading Rob, and this is only the first card. It's going to be a long episode.
Very synergizes very well with what we know the warriors do, dealing 1 damage, 2 damage, 3 damage to
I'm probably going to bring up Warpath because that was in our previous episode.
But
even really Warpath, this has to sit on the board.
Because there's, besides Hex,
feel better,
and things like that, they're going to have to trade into this. I guess maybe not. They could just theoretically ignore it because when you play this card, it can't attack. And if you're not actively dealing damage to it, like giving this minion attack more, like the first thing I thought was like Cruel Taskmaster, take 1 damage and it gets +2 attack. But giving this minion attack doesn't do anything. If you want to silence this minion so it can attack, then it loses out on its ability, right? So the key here is to give this minion some form of like taunt or make your opponent have to kill it, or you're going to end up dealing, 24 damage if it ends up taking 1 damage periodically. So maybe they're going to release
never going to happen.
Maybe a common or a rare that has some form of synergy with this particular card, deal 1 damage.
I'm pretty sure I rate this fairly okay, even though this card has not seen play.
And it's like a 3-mana 2/2 or something. I don't know how it's gonna work.
I still don't think this card. This card isn't bad. It's just there's no cards that make this card good. You know what I mean?
What is it? Warpath or something? That's really
it has
good.
no
You
support
play this
system.
And then Warpath. The following turn 5 times for 15 damage if your opponent doesn't have
a card can be awesome, but if the card has nothing to synergize with it, like that's amazing, or good support,
2 cards, and this guy would still have 3 life left. Pretty impressive. Anyway,
pretty impressive.
Not what I had hoped when I look at the when I imagined a new like a Warrior Legendary, hopefully being at least a Tempo Dragon Control-esque card. Obviously, this is very much so leaning towards the control side of things. It's hard to rate this card as of now because, like I said, Warrior has it's kind of in a weird spot. It doesn't have too many of each. It has like pirates going on. It has like this weird tempo formation going on, and it has like a wannabe control. Also, keep in mind, guys, when we had made this video, there was no viable Warrior deck at all. The Warrior was not seen. The only viable Warrior deck that was or even close to being around was Pirate Warrior. So all of the Warrior cards that we reviewed, like there was no, like there's still Warriors in a weird spot. The only Warrior that we see is Taunt Warrior, basically. Maybe some like odd, Dead Man's Hand, or not odd, but like Dead Man's Hand, Fatigue Warrior, but still like not often, right? So it's not like, Mage and Shaman and Druid that have always just had good cards. So this one, the Warrior cards are a little bit harder to rate. And they're not like they're not diving into just one kind of warrior at the moment. Like as we've seen a lot of the other classes, they really like pigeonhole exactly what you're gonna be playing with that class. But Warrior is one of those ones that it's kind of just like there's not any nothing solidifying yet. It's like trying to fucking
solidifying. Good word, Rob.
And you don't even got nothing. You got nothing.
At you with
can't
these
even make
big old thick words.
So, and Flubber is a flubbery kind of dude.
What the fuck is Flubber getting brought up here? Rob, save Flubber for later.
To the
Move
next
on.
Warrior card. I think
this card is good.
Really, really good.
That's
5
my
mana
boy.
4/4. Rush after this attacks and kills a minion. Get
Flubber
2/2. So it's basically a 5 mana 6/6 with Rush. Well, it's a 4/4, but after it's going to be a 6/6. So I think this card is really, really good.
Oh yeah,
any card is good. I mean, basically has charge and it gets a buffed after it kills a minion. Most of the time, it's going to be able to probably kill a minion if you're playing against any form of aggro mid range or sometimes even other control decks. Just being able to do that 4 damage, but it has to actually kill the minion, so you can't like attack this and then kill it with something else. Obviously, so just make sure ordering is going to be really important with this card. It may seem like
ordering very important. Rob, it just has to kill the minion.
You just like attack with Frostmourne, attack with the minion. You're like, oh shit, I should have actually killed it with the Frostmourne, not just dealt damage to the minion with the Frostmourne. So I think it's a really
don't overcomplicate things.
Really, really good
cards. That literally not even sense.
Tempo Warrior, it can see it. An Aggro Warrior can see play. It's a little hefty for Aggro Warrior, but still a good card. And
a little hefty.
Definitely in some forms of Control Warrior, I would play this card. It's just a good card. It's a good, solid card, basically in all situations.
Good review, Rob.
Moving to the next one, we have the
I like this card so much.
Legendary card. We got a lot of legendaries, guys. This one, in my opinion, is probably one of the best that's been printed thus far, besides one we haven't gone over yet, which I think is really, really good. It's going to be, in my opinion, close to broken if it's, works out the way I think it will. This is each turn. This is in your hand. Transform it into a card in your opponent.
I still think this card's good. It just doesn't have a deck that works well with it.
Ultimately powerful as itself, but the ability to kind of see what's in your opponent's hand every turn allows you to not only play around those cards, figure out what's in your opponent's hand, but also, obviously if you're playing a warlock against someone, I still want to try to make this card work. AoE spells, you can kind of wait to hit that card and then plan to use it. You also know if they'll have it in their hand. I think this card is just like super fucking good. I think this is like an auto include into any control priest. Maybe not so much like combo priest.
You're using some really big words, Rob.
When you're playing like a combo priest deck, the cards in the deck are there for a very specific reason.
Oh, jeez, Rob.
Deviating from the cards that have like their very specific purpose, it makes the combo and synergies within the
I wonder
deck
if I ever mentioned Rin.
More inconsistent. So having
our
cards
first
like this
day,
like
somebody
priest that
Camellios stole of our
multiple card combinations opens up a lot of possibilities for control priests to be even stronger. They're losing. We got to think we're losing operative here. We're losing a lot of key control priest cards. So it's what's gonna make the room. Obviously, this guy, he's really
5 mana, 5/6 battle cry, discover opponent, discover a card in your opponent's deck. Fuck that card.
We're talking about the Coffin Crasher, the 6 mana, 6/5 Death Rattle.
It's shit.
I'm pretty sure I say that
from
your hand.
Come on, Rob.
So obviously, the first instinction is the Obsidian Statue. A lot of people were talking about that guy. And there's like combos with this and a couple other cards that you're able to multiply this and then make a field full of Obsidian Statues.
No.
Overall, pretty solid card. I don't think it's as broken as people think.
There you go.
Originally, because it is, keep in mind it's a 6 mana, 6/5, but it's very slow.
Not as broken.
It's a slow card. Big Priest is known to be slow in the early game. It's very dependent on Spirit Lash, Shadow Word Pain, Shadow Word Death, Coin Dragonfire. Stuff like that to be able to kind of hold the board down, especially Barns. So when you've got cards that cost more than 6 mana, it's still very, very weak to aggressive base decks, including aggressive base decks that have silence, because you could just silence Obsidian Statue, and then it becomes basically, it loses taunt, it loses the lifesteal, it loses the death rattle. So there's definitely ways to get around this kind of card. Not to say it's not good, it is definitely going to see play in the specific deck that it belongs. Death Rattle Priest, Quest Priest, maybe some forms of Big Priest, maybe some form of combo, OTK Priest that may pop up. But overall, I don't think it's as good as what people are originally saying about it. I think people are kind of overhyping this guy. I've seen a lot of hype around him.
Question, by any chances, can we play Coffin Crasher in that new Quest Priest that's rolling around? We'll also play Statues, then we'll play the Twilight to resummon either Crasher and or a Statue to kill minions. I don't know. I'll have to try that later in the stream, now that I'm looking at Coffin Crasher again, because it is a Death Rattle, and it can summon a Death Rattle, so, like, it could summon Bone Drake, summon Statue, you know what I mean? It's not awful, but it just doesn't see any play.
This other card, I think the hype for this girl is actually much warranted. It's the 6 mana 5/5 Lady in White Battlecry, cast Inner Fire on.
I haven't seen a Lady in White in months.
That's fucking insane, in my opinion. Because you're able to play.
You joined the hype.
There was a meme, Magma Rager, I think it was. He's a
you should reverse psychology them. If they say go, you say stop. They say stop, you say let's
7/7 because he's a 4 mana 1/7. But the problem with the Lady in White is it's going to be very, very, very similar to, as we remember, Kazakis Priest, Kazakis Mage, and drawing Raza on 5. So instead of, Raza on 5 now, it's Lady in White on 6. So, they draw this in the early game. They get the cards that do crazy shit. You can even play, Humongous Razor Leaf now, the 3 mana, 3/8. And it's now a 3 mana 8/8, and all you have to do is add a silence now. You don't have to, Inner Fire and silence.
Have mercy, Rob. I can't believe you just said that. So what I just suggested, chat, what this man right there just suggested you do is play Lady in White on your Humongous Razor Leaf, right? Make it a 3 mana 8/8. The card says it can't attack. Then I want you to silence that card, making it back to a 3 attack minion because it loses the buff from Lady in White, and then rebuff that minion. So Lady in White literally did nothing to this Razor Leaf. That was the most awful suggestion, Rob. I think you are going to make the entirety of the review series, because that is fucking retarded. That was awful. Please, I hope you correct yourself, because if not, just do it. Just do it, man. That's it. But I guess cast Inner Fire on the minion, which means if it gets silenced, it loses the Inner Fire. So maybe the silence. All right, never mind. Take that back. Scratch that. Okay. I don't want to hear comments about it. Whew. I know one guy's gonna be like, "Oh, you silencing me. You're so dumb." I caught myself.
That's what I just did, Rob.
Oh my God, Rob in the past just caught Rob in the future doing what Rob in the past knew what Rob in the future was gonna do. This man is a fucking genius. You are a genius. I will not say a single word.
It's gonna be one of those cards that if they draw it early in the game, it's
insane. I'm a genius.
Until, like, later,
Rob in the past got Rob in the future. Oh my God, the plays.
These decks will probably still
the
play
fucking
Inner Fire,
plays,
The
dude.
Inner Fire thing more consistent, right?
Holy
they already
shit.
get Inner Fire. There's 2 of them in the deck. They can Shadow Visions, Inner Fire, and shit like that. So there's ways around it. But she just makes it so like you don't have to like Geist. I guess Geist is rotating, but anyway, it just makes it a little bit more consistent. And by a little bit more, I mean like a lot more consistent. Cursed cast away the 6 mana 5/3 rush death rattle, draw a combo card from your deck.
It's bad. Please say it's bad, Rob.
6 mana, basically kill a minion. Probably. Death rattle, draw a card.
Actually, I'm looking at this card. It doesn't really look that bad. I haven't seen a single person use it.
Isn't as bad as what it looks like. Because of the rush. If this card did not have rush, this card is fucking atrocious.
Yes. Because imagine you draw this card, then you get to draw into your
Oh crap! Dad just texted me that they have cannelloni with spinach.
Oh, cannelloni.
Oh, that's interesting. I had cannelloni for the first time, guys, a couple of weeks ago, and I really enjoyed it.
Unfortunately, my dad did not text me.
I don't know what cannelloni is, and it has it doesn't mean anything with this video.
I wish I had cannelloni with spinach right now.
It's like a noodle. But inside the noodle is like chicken and cheese.
Rob, please stop. I'm hungry.
Cursed Getaway.
This is a review, Rob, not cannelloni review.
It's pretty bad. I don't think it's pretty bad. It's there's good, there's like neutral, there's bad, and it's between like neutral and bad. It's like somewhere in here. It's not absolutely atrocious.
Thank you for that visual, Rob. I really understand this card now.
The greatest. Yeah. This other card though, I think this card's actually pretty good. Cheap shot. The 2 mana Echo, deal 2 damage to a minion. So as of now, we know
it was played for a little bit.
It doesn't really have any like medium size, or I should say small to medium size spells that deal small damage.
Yeah, this was played for a little bit, but I haven't seen it in a long time.
We see Fana Knives.
It might pick up play though again.
And then we had Jade Shuriken, but that's no longer a thing.
I'm probably gonna rate this good.
So with that, we don't always want to execute a minion or eviscerate a minion, I should say, because we only have 2 of them in the deck. It does 4 damage. So this kind of gives us a way to deal damage to maybe a bunch of small minions that's more than just the Fana Knives. It also combos well with cards like Auctioneer. You have Auctioneer out, you can echo this card continuously to do damage. Also, in my opinion, Malagos isn't bad. It's a nice little field card, but I guess if you have Malagos and you can Fana Knives, you're doing 6 to everything for 3 mana. So maybe not so much Malagos, cheap shot. If this was not only to damage to a minion, this could actually go face, it'd be fucking insane.
If this could go face, that'd be so sick.
Would be so good. Originally, I didn't read the minion part, and I got super excited because I thought maybe Malagos
Rob
Rogue
didn't read the card
story of my life. Obviously just says minion Malagos Rogue pops out of the picture. But either way, I still think this card is pretty good. Pretty good. It looks a little underwhelming. I still stand by my review of this card. Overall, pretty excited about it. Wanted, the 4 mana, deal 3 damage to another, deal 3 damage to a minion. I think you're locking me down here, Blizzard. Give me some shit that does face. I like the face. If it kills it, add a coin to your hand.
You like the face.
I think this, any sort of control player / combo / Malagos Rogue will always play cards like this. Deal damage to minion, get coins. Coins equal more card draw. More card draw equals consistency and drawing combo pieces you need to kill your opponent faster. So wanted, good card. In those kinds of decks. Will this see play in would this see play in Tempo Rogue? Absolutely not. Because for 4 mana, you'd rather play a minion.
This does see play in Malagos Rogue though.
Than actually clear a minion, but as we
know,
know,
that's really popular deck, but it actually does have a deck that it goes into.
Miracle Rogue-esque. it's not all about
like it's a core part of the Malygos rogue.
Board. It's sometimes better to like start putting things together to get your combo rolling with cards like Auctioneer. Emerson, I think this card is super cool. I'm not really sure how good it's gonna be. Just super because cool, I'll explain why. But overall, I love cards like this. Big, giant fucking minions that have huge impacts. Like, your deck has to kind of work well with...
Not impact. Impacts. Huge impacts.
This big, giant fucking minions that have huge impacts.
Not impact.
Your deck has to kind of work
New
well
word.
With this guy. Obviously, like, Lady in White, your deck is built around Lady in White, but if you draw Lady in White early and you play her early, you win the game. If you play this guy on turn 10, your opponent's not like, oh my god, I can't believe he had this on turn 10. It's like, they waited the whole fucking game for this guy, unless they top deck it right on 10. Then that's kind of unfortunate, right? But like cards like this, big mana cost, big abilities, and he's a 10 mana 8/8 dragon, which is interesting.
Problem is he's a hunter card.
And it says battle cry, double the attack and health. I actually just said hunter card at the same time that guy did. So this isn't like something that's going to affect your entire deck, so drawing it early on, it's just in your hand. But as we know, hunter really doesn't have that many fucking cards in his hand past turn like 5 or 6. So this is definitely more so like into like mid-range / late game hunter.
Which doesn't exist.
So this is like big, like a dragon hunter would be so fucking sick in my opinion. If that ever becomes a thing, I really think this card is super cool. Like the artwork, I'm sure this card Golden is gonna look beautiful, and I really like. What I would have wanted is this to be more a druid card. I wish this was a druid card. I wish this was like a big fucking tree, or something like Stonewood Tree Golem, and it was a 10
Stonewood Tree Golem. You need to work on your cool names, Rob, because if you think that's a cool name, you need to go back to pre-K.
That'd be such a cool...
You're in the category of people called, like, Death Slayer 1.
To throw down there and maybe make that deck pretty good that they've been pushing for a long time. So it's really weird that they would make this a hunter card, right? But now, Savannah Hyman is a 12 attack, 10 HP, 6 mana card. Like, you play this card, and if that shit's in your hand, your opponent is so fucked, but this card is so
Unless
slow.
they have, Voodoo Doll, Polymorph, Hex, Meteor, Silence.
So, like, the key for this is going to be, like, the ability to trigger battle cries if shit is already on the board, or trigger a battle cry from your deck through a card. So it's like a 3-mana 2/2, and it says trigger a random battle cry in your deck. Hits this, your hand.
I'm making up cards at this point.
So maybe they'll make something like that, but I feel like that would be just so broken. I feel like that would be so good, but it's definitely an idea. Trigger battle cries from the deck,
Yeah,
or it could
sure.
be like a 6
make up some shit. Make it be good. You do you, Rob. I'll do me over here, and I'll live in reality, and you can live over there in fucking Wonderland.
Definitely, I think that might be a thing, because why else would they print this card? And they already have a card similar to that.
Hunting Mastiff. I'm not even going to cover this card.
Discover
this card doesn't even see play.
Right, discover a beast in your deck or a minion. It's like
that card doesn't see play.
I don't remember his name. He has
there we go. This card sees play.
And this card kind of sees play. 2 mana, sound the bells, echo, giving minion +1/+2. So this actually already exists as a 1 mana buff, but because it has echoes,
this card
it gives
does
you
not
the ability
see play.
to kind of play it over and over again.
Here's a card that saw play and now doesn't see play.
But if you spread out the 1/2 on 2 different targets, so that may actually work out for you better if your opponent only has the single target removal. The next card we're going to talk about is the 4-mana Vex.
I'm pretty sure I hammer this down.
Beast, whenever you
Tempo
cast
Rogue.
a spell
All right, Tempo Mage.
Summon a random 2-cost minion. Originally, people were looking at this card, and I was reading, and they were like, oh, this is a control card. You play this, and you play a bunch of spells, and you fill up your board that normally, as we know, Control Mage doesn't really play a lot of spells. But I ultimately think this would be played in more of a tempo /
What? Did you just fucking say to me? Control Mage doesn't play a lot of spells. I want to go back and listen. If this man just said what I think he said, I'm going to be so upset with you. I'm going to have to talk to you when I get home.
Like, oh, this is a control card. You play this and you play a bunch of spells and you fill up your board that normally, as we know, Control Mage doesn't really play a lot of spells. But I ultimately think this would be played in more of a tempo / super early game mage, because you want to play this guy and then play a bunch of super cheap spells just to fill your board up with a bunch of 2-mana minions. You know what I'm saying? So you play this guy.
I probably meant it doesn't run a bunch of cheap spells, but I said it doesn't run a bunch of spells. When speaking in a video and you say things, what you say is kind of important. When you say Mage doesn't run a lot of spells, and you're not clear about this, Rob. Some people may think you're fucking stupid. And they'll never come back. You need to work on this, Rob. I'll have to have a talk with you later when you get home.
And ultimately, maybe you have like a Sorcerer's Apprentice out, and you play like, you know, the Mirror Entity. It's not Mirror Entity. It might be Mirror Entity. But anyway, the make taunts, the zero attack.
Mirror Image, Rob.
2 HP taunts. You go Arcane Missiles. There's a lot of really cheap spells that you could play. And kind of just combo, even if this guy lives 1 turn and you have like a glyph into something, into like, you know, something you play, you could easily play
very specific glyph into something,
and it not be like your hand gets fully diminished.
This man knows what he's talking about.
I think this card is going to be pretty good in the aggressive base Mage. As we know, Mage is the tempo Mage is actually losing out on a bunch of I wouldn't say absolutely key cards, but important cards to the deck that makes they're losing a lot of the minion end stuff. And I actually mentioned this in, I think, our part 2 video reviewing the cards. No, it was on our cards rotating out, and I mentioned, you know, tempo Mage is like 1/3 minions, 2/3 spells, and they're losing out on like half of the 1/3. And this is kind of just a replacement for those 1/3 that actually just puts more minions on the board, which is, I think, what I mentioned before. They're gonna have to have something that generates minions, or they're gonna have to have
the tempo Mage lost quite a few minions, so it needed a replacement. But actually, all they did was get more spells.
And it generates minions in synergize as well with the spells, which is what 2/3 of your deck is, and half of those spells are cheap spells. So I mean, this is kind of just exactly in line with what I kind of imagined them doing in replace of the minions that are rotating out. Blackwalled Pixie, 3 mana, 3/4 battle cry.
I'm interested just to see what I say about this card.
Going to be found in some form of combo deck. That
I wonder if I mentioned Warrior by any chance.
The decks where you can upgrade your hero power.
Upgrade
your hero power. This might see a little bit of play. Overall, the stats on it are pretty good. So
I didn't
maybe
specifically
even
say Warrior, but I said the ones that you upgrade
as a 3 mana, 3/4, and if you happen to be able to weave in a hero power, that's pretty good, right? I can't really seem to. This guy doesn't really ring any super bells for me.
Super bells.
Ultimately, it's kind of self-explanatory. If we look at it, we have the oh, what's his name? Man, I wish I was feeling a little bit better. I feel like groggy and like the names are just not popping up, even though I know them.
Rob, you feel like that all the time.
Coinmaster Beardo. It's literally the same stats, and Beardo. For every spell you play, you refresh your hero power. So this is like the same stats, but this is just a battle cry refresh your hero power. So very, very similar to that card. Very, very similar. And the last card we're going to take a look at is the Ravencaller, the 3 mana 2/1 battle cry.
That was the last card?
Add 2 random 1.
All right, so that's going to wrap up this card review. We covered some pretty exciting cards, and I was wrong, I think about 50% of the time, right? Lady in White, I was wrong. The Coffin dude, I was wrong. Camillus, I was wrong. So we got them right, like, at about 50% of the time. So that was pretty cool. At least we're not wrong, like, most of the time, like some other players. Not going to mention any names. I'm just kidding. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I will see you in the next episode and or on stream. With that, take it easy and have a great evening or morning. As always, I'm Rob Warshack, and happy whatever the hell day it is.